Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a
What's
light
your
on
story?
incredible. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission?
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spotlight Sessions. My name is Avital and I am today's host, and I'm really excited to be speaking with Amy Pinder, who is the Volunteer Executive Director at Accessible Festivals. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me. I'm happy to be having a conversation.
Amazing. It's our pleasure. So why don't we just dive right in? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am the Volunteer Executive Director for Accessible Festivals. We're a nonprofit that focuses on ways that music and recreation can be more accessible for people with disabilities and people for all abilities. We do that by providing some education and consulting to other organizations. We also produce our own inclusive music and wellness festival, which is where we get to go beyond the laws and regulations in the ADA and really show what accessibility and inclusion can look like in a recreational space, which is what we're really passionate about. And we also have a ticket giveaway program where we grant tickets to festivals across the United States for people with disabilities. And we know that the festival partners that we have really, really solid accessibility programs in place.
That's really great, and honestly so important to make sure that those spaces and those events are accessible. What motivated you to become a part of the organization?
I have a neurodivergent brain, and I learned so much myself being in a music festival space that I never would have imagined as I stepped foot into my first festival. I felt really, really overwhelmed from a sensory perspective. I was really outside my comfort zone, and it was really scary for me at first, but I ended up finding so much peace and comfort and learned so much about self-expression and community and on and on. And that kind of just got the wheels turning about how this could be a really amazing space for anybody to kind of get to know themselves better, work through challenges, and take home lessons into everyday life. And as I got to thinking all about that, I started doing some research, and I realized how recreation is such an overlooked human need. And so, that kind of just brought things together and really motivated me to want to work in this space.
So how long have you been involved with Accessible Festivals?
So Accessible Festivals was actually founded in 2014 by friends Austin Whitney and Oren Shawnee. Austin was in an accident, a car accident that left him paralyzed, and attending a festival was the first thing that made him smile and feel hope again. So he got the project going. I joined forces in 2017 when I met another woman, Leah Barron, at a music festival and realized we had the same vision for creating our very own accessible and inclusive music festival. So in figuring out how to make that happen, we found Austin and Oren and said, hey, can we work together? And the relationship grew from there. And we realized that we had so much in line that we wanted to work together. I became the executive director in 2020. After working just on my festival for a few years. I then, now I have a oversight and a hand in all of the day-to-day operations and projects year round.
Great. And so for the viewers who might not know, what does an accessible festival look like? Or feel like, sound like, taste like?
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, the one that we designed tries to consider the needs of all people of all abilities and design a space with universal design principles in mind that is truly welcoming. We think about the layout. We have pavement throughout the venue, and it's wheelchair accessible. We think about the sensory needs of our patrons. So our music's played at a lower volume. The layout's designed to reduce crowding, but also to promote a feeling of unity. We avoid strobe lighting, and we have lots of different activities and things for people to experience that are separate from the music, but are still there on site. So at any given time, there's workshops and there's ongoing activities, there's relaxation spaces. So our goal is kind of for people to be able to choose what they need and then come back to the togetherness of it all as a way to kind of learn to self-regulate, because anxiety seems to accompany most disabilities and really is something that all humans experience. So we really do
Mhm.
focus on that aspect of mental health and disability. While also providing accommodations like American Sign Language interpreters and accessible workshops and just generally accessible spaces. We have a listening lounge where people can wear headsets, control the volume, increase or decrease it depending on their personal needs, or wear vibrating
Mhm.
backpacks to feel the music if they're not able
That's
to
awesome.
experience it auditorily. We have an access center with volunteers and staff that can guide people, and we try to think about everything and we try to try everything at our own event, because that is what it's designed for.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I think that there's so much that goes into making um, an accessible event that a lot of people might not think about, and having so many different options for different people depending on whether it's how they identify or how they're feeling or what they're feeling is really amazing. Can you tell us a memorable moment or a story from your time working at accessible festivals that has really had a lasting impact on you?
Yeah, sure. um, I like I like the lessons that it seems to impart about unity. Um, Going back to our accommodations for a moment, like I love hearing about how an accommodation that we designed
Mhm.
with one issue in mind ends up helping more than what like who we could have ever imagined, and having this ripple effect. So for example, those wearable backpacks were designed to help people that are deaf or hard of hearing
Mhm.
experience
Right.
music, but it turns out that it can be really grounding for someone who's neurodivergent or autistic or experiencing anxiety to just like feel that and might help them
Mhm.
stay in that place. And so that's not what it was originally thought of. So knowing that has been so rewarding, and figuring that kind of stuff out. um, Also, like hearing personal stories and testimonies. Someone came up to me at a concert, after experiencing Inclusion Festival, and said, I just want to tell you that during a set at Inclusion Festival, I high-fived with a guy that definitely had autism. He was jumping and down and experiencing the music with such joy I'd
Mhm.
never witnessed. And then when we gave each other a high five, like I never saw so much joy in a person, and it made me realize that these small things that I could do as a community member back at home in my own community could have this really powerful effect. Like the high five didn't seem like a big deal, but it was for him. And it's a little thing, but it's a big thing. Those lessons that
Yeah, it's a
people
big
take
thing.
home, about.
It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
It's
I
it's
smile at
really
people more now. Like, I was like,
Mhm.
that's great.
Yeah, it's really making something accessible to everybody, which is so amazing to have that experience and to be able to provide that. It's really, really amazing. Um, we really like to ask this question to everybody who comes to our show, and everybody always has a very different answer, depending on their background or, the organization that they work in or whatever that might be. But what first comes to mind when you hear the word accessibility? Or, on another hand, what does accessibility mean to you?
Sure. I think accessibility means being able to do or say whatever you want, whenever you want, within reason,
Mhm.
but just as much as any other community member could. So it's the removal of barriers, and also the self empowerment to be able to just get out there and do what you want to do. And working together, I think there's like individuals and society needs to really meet in the middle, that it's this beautiful union of personal responsibility and public responsibility to get everybody included.
So, if everybody could do one bit to make the world a more inclusive place, what would that be? Big question.
Yeah, big question. I think make it a point to interact with someone with different backgrounds and different sets of experience than your own. That could be with people with disabilities, that could be people with different socioeconomic
Mhm.
backgrounds, life experiences. When I think accessibility too, I think broad. It can mean so many things related to our finances, our body's abilities and our brain's
Definitely.
abilities and our access to resources. So just interacting with people with very different life experiences, I think is so
Mhm.
eye-opening and brings empathy. And that's, that's a huge piece of why we do what we do, and it's why we chose festivals. I think that the conversations that can happen in recreational spaces are very special and unique and different from the ones that might happen in workplaces or places of academia or school. Those can be all good too. Those are important facets of our lives, but so is recreation. It just invites this openness. So do something fun with someone different, I guess, is my takeaway.
Yeah, definitely. And my last question is, what do you wish that other organizations who put on music festivals, what do you wish that they did more of in regards to accessibility?
Um, Listened to their patrons and really took time to review the feedback and maybe pick one thing each year to focus on and to improve. I think that it's really overwhelming to hear about so many different needs and to think, about all there is that you could do. But, we can really do one thing at a time.
Mhm.
And that can make a difference. So just listening and
Definitely.
trying one new thing each year to make it a little bit better, I think would be manageable and really
Yeah,
helpful.
definitely. That brings to mind something that I always say when talking about web accessibility, and that accessibility is a journey, it's not a destination. So, we always need to be improving. We always need to be striving to be better and striving to make every space, whether it's digital or physical, accessible for everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, Amy, it was really great speaking with you today. Thank you so much for being on the show and talking to us and having this conversation. If anybody wants to get involved with accessible festivals, how could they go about doing so?
They can go to accessiblefestivals.org. You can learn about our programs and our projects and how to get involved. We're always looking for volunteers and we're always looking for donations. It really helps us accomplish all that we're trying to do.
Definitely. Well, we'll make sure to have all the information on accessible festivals within the description of this episode. Once again, it was really a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Thanks. Thanks so much for having me.